It is a beautiful Colorado day. Hi everybody, welcome back, or if you're new, welcome in. My name's Chris, and well, my videos have slowed down a little bit lately. You see, right after the new year I injured my foot. It took me a little bit longer than I thought for it to get completely fully healed. There was just a little speck there that really just lingered for a little while. Well, now it's fully healed, and I thought, it's a nice day out. Let's go over here and walk up an incredibly steep hill. Yeah, it's time to go explore and see some of those dinosaur prints again. So why don't you come along and let's see what we can see. Before I walk up that incredibly steep hill, I figured maybe I'll first walk downhill and check out this visitor center over this way. Let's see if it's open. Now, I've already been up to those dinosaur prints one or two times before. I haven't been down to this center, so I kind of want to head there first. You know, Google says it's closed, but there's quite a few cars here. Well, I'm not sure about the building, but the parking lot's definitely open. Let's walk around and find out. Already outside here, we've come across a dinosaur who apparently stepped on a Lego. Not sure if they're running today, but these are the buses that they use to do the actual guided tour. Or you could walk up the hill. And most likely I'm going to walk up. It does look like at least the gift shop is open. I'll head there in a second, but first, I found a QR code. And these are just the dinosaurs out here inside the picnic grounds. And one more QR code. And apparently they do have some panning for gold or something at some point during the year. Actually, it looks like it's for gemstones. And apparently you can choose between purple, blue, ocean, or green. But it's not open today. Ah yes, the natural colorings of a dinosaur. Apparently major funding for this place was provided by the Colorado Lottery and Coors. So, you know, gambling and beer. And there are the matching funds. And in-kind services looks like they were provided by quite a few Boy Scout troops. Well, thank you very much. Apparently there are some weekend tours. I'm here on a Monday. But there are some QR codes and, well, the prices seem to range from $24 to $28 a person. We're going to do our own. Oh, look, you can actually get a dinosaur license plate. And apparently there's an app involved. There's Apple. And there's Android. Yeah, in here is the gift shop. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. I'm not sure if I could bring you all along. Yeah, it was a little gift shop. If you've been to a roadside gift shop, you kind of know what to expect from there. Lots of dinosaur artifacts and such. I just didn't feel comfortable filming in there. So let's continue our little tour. And back here we have a little story of how we found some of these bones. Apparently it was a couple digging in their backyard. And now apparently you can come down here and dig in their backyard and try to find some dinosaur bones. And I'm pretty sure these are not actual prints. We'll go up the hill and try to find those later. But for now, let's move on to the back of the building. Because I think somewhere back here is the actual exhibit hall. Yeah, but please do not walk in the flower bed, otherwise, well, he might get you, or maybe whatever happened to him will happen. Time to go ahead and check out this exhibit hall. There are some QR codes. It is $5 a person to go in. The bus tour, by the way, is $20, and apparently it's daily. You can explore on your own for free up the mountain. That's what we're going to be doing later. The audio tour is $8. You can download it to your phone. You can buy a field guide. Or you can get a daily dino pass, which is actually kind of fun to say. I did pay my $5 and went on the little tour. There were 2 people working it and actually gave me a little guided tour. It was interesting to learn some of the things. I do recommend paying your $5. I'm not going to give you a free version of it, unfortunately. Yeah, mostly because I didn't feel comfortable filming in there, and when I was the only other person in there. And that was just a brief stop. The real hike is right around this way. Yeah, I think I put off this hike for as long as I could. Besides, the cows are multiplying. And yes, we did finally get some snow a few days ago. There's not much left of it, but we did get some. It may not look steep while I'm on it, but it definitely looks steep from down here. And I'm willing to bet that's the backyard that was alluded to earlier. You know, I did recently get a bike, but it's going to be a long time before I'm in shape enough to go up something like this. Let's take the walking path. And as we go along, remember, no climbing, no collecting, and the rocks are unstable. Which does lead to a little bit of a contradiction. You're not supposed to collect, but you are supposed to collect what your dog leaves. And apparently dancing will lead to falling rocks. Well, let's go ahead and start heading up the mountain. I did bring some water this time. Oh, wow. Thin, skinny people have their own lane. And I guess us overweight single people gotta walk in the middle of the road. But at least that road is mostly empty. And today we are climbing up the Dakota Ridge. It was formed about 100 million years ago. You know, one of the interesting things I learned on that little tour in there was that places like Red Rocks, Garden of the Gods, and so on, those are all remnants of the first Rocky Mountains that eroded away before these Rocky Mountains ever came into existence. Yeah, over the course of 100 million or so years, all this became a bit of an ocean, and then that ocean receded away. After that, a lot of the Rockies were formed. But while this was an ocean, well, that's when the dinosaur footprints were left behind. And by ocean, I mean shallow ocean bed. In fact, it was about 92 million years ago that, it kind of looked like that. Yep, Colorado looks a lot different now. And now the oceans are washed away and the dinosaurs from those times are, fueling the vehicles sitting in traffic. And here's a little Dakota sandstone in case anybody was going to take it for granted. You know, honestly, if all we have are bones to go by, who's to say this isn't what they look like? That bit of art was created by Pat Madison and Jim Dickinson and was given to Dinosaur Ridge in 2022. There's a QR code to learn more. Hey, welcome to Crocodile Creek. I wonder if we'll find old Ginger there. Be careful of Ginger, because, Ginger snaps. Speaking of, there are some old scratches from a crocodile. And just above Crocodile Creek, I did find a few dinosaur tracks. Well, I guess somebody else found them first, but here they are in the rock. They told me down in the visitor center that they use charcoal to kind of make them stand out. And you can kind of tell where some of that charcoal has been washed away, at least in person. That's probably showing up even better on camera, though. I mean, just through the screen, that one looks a lot more vivid than I can see with my bare eyes. And it might look a little bit differently if the sun was actually beaten straight down on it. It's already starting to lower behind the other side of the ridge. So let's go ahead and keep walking up this road, just so we can get around to the other side before it starts getting a little darker. This whole ridge is scattered with little imprints of things. We haven't even made it to the main site yet. But apparently we have made it to, well, I'll let the sign describe itself. Oh, hey, more prints. These ones aren't labeled, so I have no idea what they are. But right next to it, we do find some ripple marks made from the waves. And there they actually are in the mountain. And now I've come to the main site. Here's a nice aerial view of all of it. Don't worry, we're gonna see a bit of it in a moment. Apparently one of the more common tracks is from the hadrosaur. I'm not sure if I'm actually pronouncing that correctly, but yeah, there's quite a few different tracks in this whole little area. And these tracks were made when it was a tidal flat. Somewhere around 100 million years ago. Of course, sites like this can actually show a bit of dinosaur behavior, considering they do show which direction they were walking in at various times. And here is the actual site itself. They do have some benches set up. I'm pretty sure that's for the tour. Pretty sure a bunch of people aren't just sitting here watching the rocks. Although they probably could. It is a nice view. Just another quick view of some of these tracks before we start moving back on up the mountain. Yeah, the sun's getting a little bit low and I left my jacket in the car. I don't want to get a little bit too cold out here, so let's keep walking. Because we definitely have some more sights to see. Wow. Always take time to stop and look at the little things. Speaking of little things, here's another dinosaur track surrounded by the imprints of some prehistoric worms. Okay, maybe it wasn't just worms, there were shrimps and other crawlers, but mostly worms. I've gone up that trail a few times. I'm not going to do it today. It's a little bit out of the way. But I did make it to the outhouses, so I should be getting close to the halfway point of my walk. In fact, yeah, that looks like a good place to film a quick intro. Hold on a second. Let me film something for the beginning that you probably already saw. Okay, now on with our little walk. This looks like we're almost at the top. In fact, this looks like a great place to just take a brief stop and wave to all the people on the freeway. I know they can't see me. I'm waving anyway. Yeah, nobody's waving back. Oh well. Yeah, you can't say I didn't try. Alright, let's go ahead and continue around the curve and back down the hill before we have to head right back up here. Yeah, suddenly in the last few minutes the wind kind of started picking up here, so I'm going to be filming the rest of this with my microphone, just in case there's any difference in sound quality. Well, moving along, we've now come across a spherical curiosity. And there it actually is in the rock. I'm going to go ahead and just leave this on screen real quick so you can hopefully read it. Pause if you need to. Well, now we've come across some volcanic ash. It's right over here. Let's see if we can actually see it. I'm not sure if you could see it through that mesh. And yeah, make sure you don't collect any of it. I finally made it up and around to the other side of the ridge. Got some sunlight happening again, and well, you could see one of the roads into Red Rocks. Back over there is where I came from, and well, down this way is where I'm going. Once again, it is just a beautiful day out. I'm going to continue on down the hill before having to walk all the way back up it. But before then, we did find something right over here. I found some raptor tracks. I can't really see it with my eyes right now. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up. Supposedly the tracks are right there inside that red circle. Right there is a cast of that track. But it was Colorado's first raptor track. Or at least, the first one found. I'm sure others were made before this. We didn't just have a raptor suddenly drop right into this spot. And here we have some dog tracks. I'm pretty certain those are more recent. Just like these tracks. Although I'm not really sure what kind of animal made these. I'd probably stay far, far away from them. Ooh, I hope the coloring in these rocks is showing up. That is beautiful. Just trying to get some of that without my shadow showing up in it, but oh wow. Just another quick look before I move on. Am I really coming to the end of this trail? I mean, granted, I do still have to walk back. There still are a few more dinosaur tracks, though, before I make that trek back up the mountain. And with this one, we've gone back in time even further. In fact, there's not just dinosaur prints. We have some bone right here. As you can see, a lot of people have touched it. It's nice and shiny. I'm not going to be one of them. In fact, it says right on the sign you're not supposed to touch them. But a lot of people obviously have. And of course you have another spot with a bench to sit and watch the rocks. Well, I'm at the point where I can't escape my shadow. So let's finish off down this road and start wrapping up this video. I'm not quite sure how long it is, but I do want to get out of here before that sun starts going down. As you can see, it was already kind of going down behind the main ridge. You still got a little ways before it goes down over here. But the other side of the ridge is starting to get a little bit chilly. But before I start walking all the way back up, I do need to complete this journey. Because right here is the other gate for the other side. As well as the other no dancing sign. And right across the street from that, just past entrance 1 to Red Rocks, lies the other visitor center, which is temporarily closed. They are doing some construction. Here is a QR code if you want to know more. But unfortunately, yeah, this one is closed until around Memorial Day. I am very curious as to what's inside, but that'll have to wait for another day. For now, it's time for me to make that trek all the way back up and around that ridge. I'll save you most of that walk and just wrap up this video when I get to the top. I'll see you when I get back up to the top. Well, that walk back up was not quite as bad as I remembered. Let's just walk a little bit down here and say our goodbyes. I'm sure we could find a nice backdrop somewhere around here. Well, this works for me. I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that other fun YouTube stuff. I'm going to try to get out and film a little bit more often, now that my foot's a little bit more healed. No pun intended. In fact, my family and I have a little trip planned pretty soon. We're going to be staying at a bit of an historic hotel for one of my daughter's dance competitions. I'm hoping to sneak away for a little bit and give you all a little bit of a tour of that place. So if you want that, make sure you hit that bell notification and come on back. Also, please remember, this world is an increasingly difficult and negative place, so try to bring a little bit of extra positivity into the world, however you can. We can all sure use it. You know, this walk wasn't nearly as hard as it was about 2 years ago. Maybe I'm not quite as out of shape as I thought, but my blood pressure still begs to differ. Well, now that looks like a fun way to get down. Good night, everyone.